Hey everyone, welcome back to Robotics. Today we're going to have our fifth lecture where we talk about velocity. To explain why velocity is so important in robotics, I want to start off with a video. And in this video, we're going to have a team of robots that are working together to try to play soccer. Velocity comes up in a few different ways, and one of them is the ball itself. How quickly is this ball spinning and what direction is it moving? I need to know that in order to pass the ball between teammates. Another aspect is the opponent. In what direction is the opponent moving? What's their linear and angular velocity? So that I can prevent them from scoring a goal. In today's lecture, I want to talk about these concepts. And I want to start off first with how do we represent angular velocity? Once we know that, I want to combine angular and linear velocity together to make something called a twist. And then finally, I'll give you the formula you need for a spatial twist. All right, so let's get started with the angular velocity. Angular velocity captures how an object is rotating or spinning. And we usually write angular velocity as a vector omega. Now, since we're looking at objects in our three-dimensional world, we want to capture how they rotate or spin around the x, y, and z axes. So omega is going to be a three-dimensional vector. The direction of omega, that is the axis that the object or the coordinate frame is rotating around. So if this coordinate frame is rotating around the x-axis, we would write maybe 1, 0, 0 as its direction. The magnitude or the length of omega is the speed of rotation. So again, you're taking your overall vector, you look at the magnitude of that vector, that is the speed, how quickly this object or coordinate frame is rotating. I can show both concepts with an example here. I've got this tennis ball, it's spinning, and I've got a robot that's looking down at the tennis ball, and then I've got this coordinate frame. I want to take 1 second just to talk about this coordinate frame. This is the spatial or world coordinate frame. The idea is that this coordinate frame does not move no matter what goes on with the robot or the tennis ball. You could think about this as like a camera or maybe a person that's sitting there and watching the robot and tennis ball as they interact. That's our spatial coordinate frame. And the question here is, the ball is spinning at 5 radians per second. Can you write omega s, the angular velocity, expressed in this spatial coordinate frame? I'll give you a second to think about it, and maybe you come up with something like what's shown here, 0, 5, 0. And the way we got there is we realized that first we start off with the direction. What direction is this object spinning around? Well, it's spinning around an axis that's lined up with the y-axis of my spatial coordinate frame. So it's going to be 0, 1, 0. And you can confirm that it's the positive y-axis by using the second part of our right-handed rule. Lining up your thumb, curling your fingers. Yes, that is the positive y-axis. Now, this 5, that comes from the magnitude, how fast this guy is spinning. The word problem mentioned that we're spinning at 5 radians per second. So I've got 0, 5, 0 because the magnitude or the speed of my motion is 5. If I were to give you this vector, the way you'd interpret it is to say, all right, omega s tells me I'm spinning around the y-axis and I'm spinning with a speed of 5 radians per second. Great. So usually we write this angular velocity as a vector. But there are also times when we need to convert it into a matrix. I'm going to show you how to do that right here. To do this conversion, I want to introduce something called the bracket 3 operator. And as an aside, if you go through the practice set that's associated with today's lecture, I'll show you exactly how to code up this bracket 3 notation so you can use it in the future. But just sticking with the lecture, the bracket 3 notation stems from cross products. So let's look at 2 vectors, x and y. Let's say both of these vectors are three-dimensional vectors, 3 by 1 vectors. So I'm going to take x cross y, and that's going to be equivalent to the bracket 3, the bracket of x times y. So I'm converting this cross product into matrix multiplication. And the way that I'm doing that is by cleverly defining this bracket x as you see down here. So this matrix right here, this is the bracket 3. Right? So I'm taking x, I'm converting it into this matrix. And what I'm doing is I'm taking a 3 by 1 vector and making it into a 3 by 3 skew symmetric matrix. And what that means, skew symmetric, is zeros on the diagonal, and then the off-diagonal elements match except for a sign. So x1, that's the first element of x. So I've got negative x1, then positive x1. x2, that's the second element of x. I've got x2, then negative x2, and then x3, that's the third element of x. I've got negative x3, and then x3. So it's almost symmetric. We call it skew symmetric. All right. So now I've got angular velocity. I've got an understanding of that, and I want to start combining that with my linear velocity. And when I do that, I form something that's called a twist. A twist is a 6-dimensional vector, a 6x1 vector. The top 3 elements are going to be my angular velocity, omega, and the bottom 3 elements are going to be my linear velocity, and I use a lowercase v for that linear velocity. So here's my angular velocity, omega, here's my linear velocity, v, and when I put those things together, I make this capital V, this twist. As a reminder, it's a 6x1 vector. The top, and it's got these mixed units because the top 3 elements, my angular velocity, well, that's going to be something like, let's say, radians per second. And the bottom 3 elements, that's going to be a linear velocity, so maybe meters per second. And so the units don't really match across this entire twist. But for the twist to make sense, I need to write it with respect to some coordinate frame. Like if I'm expressing an angular velocity with respect to what? Like I need some sort of coordinate frame to write this. And the most common coordinate frame we use is the spatial coordinate frame. I talked about that a bit earlier in today's lecture. By convention, S is the stationary world frame. It doesn't move, it's this fixed frame, and we often want to express motions with respect to that fixed frame. So I'm going to use the subscript S to denote that it's the stationary frame. So I'll have capital VS for a spatial twist. And then I've got omega S and lowercase vs to correspond with the linear and angular velocity written in this spatial frame. Okay, so how do we find it? Well, the spatial twist, it's got a bit of an unusual and I think challenging definition. Parts of it make sense and parts of it, you have to kind of wrap your head around. So I'm going to do my best to explain it in today's lecture. The spatial twist Vs is the angular velocity expressed in frame S. And that part makes a lot of sense. I'm looking at this ball, I'm watching it spin, I'm just writing its angular velocity with respect to whatever I'm defining X, Y, and Z as. So I'm writing it in my frame. But the part that's confusing is going to be this linear velocity of a point at the origin of S expressed in frame S. So it's going to be a point at the origin of S. I want to write the linear velocity of that point in frame S. Let me show you an example to try to make it more clear what that means. I'm going to start off with the part we understand, the angular velocity. So we've kind of worked through this example already. I'm looking at this tennis ball. It's spinning around this axis. Well, in my spatial frame, that's the y-axis. So I might write this as 0, beta, 0, where beta is the magnitude of this angular velocity. So I've got 0, beta, 0. And that will be the first 3 elements of my spatial twist. That part I think makes sense. Another part that makes sense is, again, I'm at my spatial frame, I'm not moving, I'm looking at this tennis ball as it moves, and I see it's translating off to the right with a linear velocity alpha. Okay, so I could write that as something like alpha 0, 0, because to me, from my perspective in spatial frame, moving to the right aligns with the x-axis. So alpha 0, 0. If we think about the position of this tennis ball as p, then p dot would be the linear velocity. And that's exactly what we have right here. Okay, so those 2 parts make sense. But now we have to add the bit of the challenging part, right? So let's say P is a vector from frame S to the coordinate frame that we're looking at, in this case, the tennis ball. So P is going to be the position of this tennis ball within the spatial coordinate frame. And you could think about this as a moment arm, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cross product between P and the angular velocity, and that's going to tell me this linear velocity that results from the angular velocity of the tennis ball. Now, I said the word cross product, but there isn't a cross product here. Or is there, right? Because the bracket 3 notation for P, this is equivalent to P cross omega S. So we're just using the bracket 3 notation instead of a cross product. Okay, so just reviewing that really quickly, this tennis ball is spinning, so it's got this angular velocity. If I look at this moment arm, this angular velocity translates into a linear velocity, an imaginary linear velocity for a point at the origin of S, and that's what's being shown right here with this bracket P times omega S. So if you put all that together, this is the formula that we'll use to find a spatial twist. And I want to practice this formula with one more example because it is a bit challenging. Here's going to be the example I want to look at. I've got my spatial frame with my X, Y, and Z components, and you can double check with your right-hand rule to make sure this works. And then I've got this drone that's at position P, so it's 5 units along the X-axis and then 4 units up along the Z-axis. So here's my drone. The drone is translating upwards with linear velocity alpha, and then it's rotating with a magnitude of beta, and it's rotating the way I've tried to draw it, it's rotating clockwise around the y-axis, which is going into the screen. So it's trying to rotate around this y-axis. So to figure out the spatial twist, I need to find omega s, p dot, and p. The problem statement already gives me p, so I just need to find omega s and p dot. And maybe take a second for yourself and see if you can figure out these two components. Here's what I got from the drawing. I realized that omega s is going to be 0, beta, 0, because this drone is rotating around the y-axis, and it's rotating around the positive y-axis because of its clockwise rotation. Then for p dot, I got 0, 0 alpha. And that's because I'm looking at this drone. I see the drone is moving upwards. Well, that corresponds with my z-axis. So 0, 0 alpha for my linear velocity. Then I'm going to combine all of these to form the overall spatial twist, like what you see here. And I want to just talk again about what this means in words. So the top three components, that's the angular velocity of this drone from my perspective. Right? So I'm just watching as the drone spins. From my perspective, I'm writing that down. And that's how I got the top three components. Makes sense. This over here, this component of the linear velocity, that also makes sense. It's me looking at the drone, I'm watching how it translates upward, and I'm writing 0, 0 alpha. That part's intuitive. The non-intuitive part is right here. And that comes from the cross product between the position of the drone, p, and the angular velocity of the drone. And I'm using the bracket 3 notation instead of the cross product. Okay, and when I do that, I build this 6x1 vector. That's going to be my spatial twist that captures the angular and the linear velocity of this drone with respect to the spatial or the world coordinate frame. Now, kind of like what we did with the angular velocity, with the spatial twists or twists in general, I often want to convert them into matrices. And for this purpose, I'm going to introduce something called a bracket 6 operator. It's going to be similar to the bracket 3 operator. The difference is bracket 3, I apply that when I have a 3-dimensional vector, like an XYZ vector. Bracket 6, I use that when I have a 6-dimensional vector. So I just apply it to vectors of different dimensions. And here's my definition for the bracket 6 operator. So let's say x is my 6-dimensional vector. The bracket of x is going to be shown here on the right. And if you look at this a little bit carefully, you can see that on the top left, that is my skew symmetric matrix with the first, second, and third elements of x now written into a skew symmetric matrix. Then over here, the fourth, fifth, and sixth elements of x, those are just written right here. And then the bottom is 0, 0, 0, 0. So please note that this is not a transformation matrix, because if it was a valid transformation matrix, this bottom right component would be 1, and it's not, it's 0. Overall, what I'm doing right here is I'm taking a 6x1 vector and I'm converting it into a 4x4 matrix. And I'll show you in future lectures why we want to do this. Okay, so we've talked about how we represent angular velocity. We've talked about how you can do it as a vector and then convert that into a matrix. We've also talked about how you can combine angular and linear velocity together to make a twist. And then we worked hard to try to come up with this formula for the spatial twist with a bit of an unintuitive explanation. I want to make sure you take a second to reinforce your knowledge. Please go through the practice problems. The first page, as a reminder, has got all the questions, and the following pages have their solutions. And in this practice set, you can code up some of the operators that we saw in today's lecture. Once you've done that, I encourage you to move on to the next lecture. And in this one, we'll start thinking about what twists are associated specifically with prismatic and revolute joints. So I'll look forward to seeing you there.